Cool Hand Podcast, something you got to deal with. Welcome back to the show. I am your host. My name is Q. Now, there is an artist who goes by the name of Justin Wyatt. This is another one of those mysterious people on Instagram. Somebody who I peeped and I checked out their music and stuff like that. But this is one of them people who think The Weeknd back in 2012. I'm not even going to say 2011. You couldn't find too many interviews with The Weeknd. He wasn't the Weeknd that you know now. He was very mysterious. He was a dark figure. Now, I'm not saying that's the case about Justin Wyatt, but this is somebody who keeps his privacy. You know, he keeps things to himself in the sense of he's not posting a lot. I'm not able to get to know him through social media the way I may be able to get to know others by their posts and things like that, if that makes sense. But this is the person we're going to be talking about today. And I want to talk about one specific song, and we'll get into that in a minute. But I want to talk about this project. It's been about a year since he dropped this project, and it's entitled Tranzpozed by Justin Wyatt. Now, Tranzpozed it was released in August of 2021, and I am finally getting around to talking about it. I'm not going to be reviewing the whole project, although I suggest you check it out if you haven't already. It's been out a year, as I've mentioned before, so you're kind of late to the party. So if you haven't listened to it by now, and you still haven't listened to it, and you're watching this right now, I appreciate you listening, but pause this, check out Justin Wyatt, then tap back in with me, and you can tell me your opinion on the project in the comments. See how that works? See how it comes full circle? Now, I reached out to Justin Wyatt. I just asked for a quote. I wanted his opinion, or what was inspired by what inspired this project, what made him want to do it, and we'll talk about it. So first of all, Justin Wyatt, he is an R&B / soul artist. Now, I was expecting him to classify himself as neo soul, because I had to look up what exactly defines the neo soul sound, because I just hear it. When you think neo soul, when I think neo soul, I think D'Angelo, I think Erykah Badu. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know this isn't neo soul, but I think of Common when he was wearing them weird hats. Not weird hats, but them big hats with the brim on it, like the small brim and the big hat, almost like a Rastafari hat. So that's what I think of when I think neo soul. I even think Maxwell, somebody like Maxwell. Okay. So, but he didn't describe himself as that, and I didn't, push the issue if I didn't ask if he thinks he's neo soul. But so that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a R&B soul artist. And when I tapped in with Justin Wyatt a few months ago, I asked him for his quote, and I'm going to read what he said verbatim. Now, he said, "So I had just finished an R&B pop album, and I wanted to get back to my roots. Soul, jazz, blues / indie flares is who I am." All right. This is who Justin Wyatt is. Back to this quote. "Most times I don't plan on making an album. I just take time to make music and the vibe I'm in. So I had a bunch of tracks that were really on the same wavelength and fine-tune them and let the world hear." Well, check this out, Justin Wyatt. I think you did a phenomenal job. I think you mission accomplished, although he said he wasn't looking to, actually just sit down and make an album. He just happened to have this set of songs that all was on the same wave, the same vibe, and he put them out. And I think he ended up making a very cohesive project. So Tranzpozed, and Tranzpozed is spelled with a Z in this title of this project. But I needed to get to know what was really going on. Now, although I'm not talking and discussing this full project, it's important to know what Tranzpozed is. Now, I had to, shout out to dictionary.com, because we had to hit up dictionary.com, because I have a high school education. I don't know these big words, these 2-syllable words. I don't know them that well. So to transpose is to reproduce in a different key. raising or lowering the pitch. That is very important in relation to this project, because that is what's happening. Now, you're not going to hear this, I don't think, on the song that we're going to talk about, which is called P.L.F, where the voice is pitched down or pitched up. Rather, on this project, that's what you're going to listen to. The next song after P.L.F, which is one of my favorites, it has a pitched down vocal effect on Justin Wyatt's voice, on his vocals. And I think that is, it's important to know what you're talking about, or what you're going to expect when listening to this project, Tranzpozed. Now, the specific song that we're going to talk about features someone who goes by the name of Jazzberry. Now, my general opinion on this project is that it is perfect for the summer, and as the summer is coming to a close, it'll be good for the fall, autumn, whatever y'all like to call it. It'll be good for that weather, that atmosphere as well. Now, this is riding in the whip music, because if you're out here on a sunny day, or a sunny day with a cool breeze, whatever that case is, and you're riding in a whip, it's something that'll be perfect for that car ride with the sun out, or when the sun's coming down, or even when the sun's coming up. So I think I think that's the mood that this music will thrive best in. Once again, this project has been out for a little over a year at this point, and I've been able to experience it in all them seasons, at all seasons at this point. So it's chill music and it's enjoyable. You can even play it as background music. If you're having a little kickback, house party, shindig, such and such and such. It has contributions by the trumpet, the sax, keys. These pitch down vocal effects contribute to a warm and jazzy and relaxing musical atmosphere. But with this relaxing and smooth sound brings lyrics that are to the point and relatable. They are not over the top. And I think Justin Wyatt backs me up on this, or my words can be backed up by this when I talk about this song, which is entitled P.L.F, aka the Song of Reconciliation. Why do I call it the Song of Reconciliation? Let's talk about that. So this has to deal with the lyrics, the whole reconciliation thing. So you're going to listen to this song and you're going to hear you're going to hear the music, and it puts you in a relaxed state of mind. The music makes you relax, as I mentioned before. But you hear him come in. Okay, he starts off with saying, I want to come back in your life, but realize I'm not able. Okay, well, this is kind of deep. I didn't know I was, you set me up and you have me relaxed. And even right now, for those who are not watching on YouTube or Spotify, you're just listening to this, I am sitting on the Cool Hand Podcast futon, and I'm relaxed. I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I'm in a relaxed mood. But when you're listening to this song, he starts off with some rather, I'm not going to say uncomfortable, but some unsettling lyrics. I'm chilling right now, but you want to talk about, I want to come back in your life, but realize I'm not able. Well, why aren't you able, bro? He talks about going through good and bad situations with this person. All right. And like I said, these lyrics are straight to the point. But at the same time, I'm trying to wonder, oh, well, what went wrong? Well, of course, this is music and it's all entertainment, but it can also make you think of maybe a situation you were in at one point. Somebody you may not have wanted to let go of, or maybe you're in a situation, you're in a relationship where you went through one of those rough patches where you all weren't in each other's lives, and maybe you thought things were beyond repair. I don't know. It's your story, not mine. So he he sings this short verse, and we eventually get to the hook, which is the thing that, what's the point of a hook? A hook is something in a song that helps it stand out. Of all things, you may not be able to quote lyrics from every song, but you remember what? The chorus, the hook. That's something that gets the people. It's something that, figuratively speaking, like a fish, you hook onto it. I can always, I can't sing all the lyrics to Hot in Her, but I know it's getting hot in her. So, you know what I mean? So, come here, my dear, I'll wipe your tears. Come here, my dear, I'll wipe the tears from your pretty little face, girl, pretty little face, girl, pretty little face, girl, pretty little face. So I'm sorry if I feel like if anybody was watching this, they turned this off as soon as I started singing. If you're still sticking in there, if you're still with me, thank you. But the hook comes in, and it is, I don't know if the beat switches or like the beat changes to a more up-tempo beat or something like that, but it's something that you can kind of pretty little face, girl. So something like that. So he has the desire to wipe the tears from their pretty little face. And how I took his verse and his lyrics, when it comes to wiping the tears from your pretty little face, I thought of these lyrics in the sense of, you went through this bad situation and maybe he caused those tears. And not him specifically, but the person in this scenario. He wants to wipe the tears from this person's face, and maybe it's all the sorrow from this bad situation, from a situation that didn't work out, maybe a situation that took a turn for the worse. Okay, so that's how I take it when he says, "I'll wipe the tears from your pretty little face." Or it can just be as simple as you're talking to somebody and you're, maybe trying to get some closure, and they're crying and you literally wipe the tears from your face. But what's the most superficial thing isn't what I'm looking at when I'm looking at these lyrics and things like that. It can be superficial, but at the same time, I think it could also be deep and visceral, right? So, yes. So clearly, as far as we've gotten in this song and what I've talked about on my end, there's some regret there. I want to come back in your life. Yes, I do want to come back in your life, but realize I'm not able. So up until this point in the song, before we get to Jazzberry's verse, it seems like he's accepted defeat. It seems like he's accepted, okay, I want to come back in your life. I want to make things right, but realize I'm not able, in the sense of, like, this is beyond repair. And maybe you've been there before. Maybe you felt them lyrics. Maybe you felt them lines. But so on his end, it's a wrap. Maybe next time. Maybe things will be better on the next go around with our next respective mates. But you'll always be a part of my life. If I could do it over again, I would. But Jazzberry comes in. Now, Jazzberry, I had to tap in with her because I wasn't sure if this was her singing, because I don't know her personally, but from the looks of things, she plays either the guitar or bass as well, and this is somebody who is musically inclined, if it's not obvious enough from hearing this sister's voice. Now, one of the first things that I need to say about this is that she completely eats this verse. Like, she got hers for sure on this verse, because she got busy on this verse. Let me get into it. So I tapped in with her and made sure it was actually her, because on Apple Music, I don't use Spotify, but it doesn't say featuring Jazzberry, but it is her, and she is credited in Justin Wyatt's Instagram post. Now, Jazzberry comes in on this second verse. She also says, "I want to come back in your life." So we have a similarity between the two verses, that each person wants to come back into each other's life. So we already established the common ground. Now, on one hand, we have Justin Wyatt, who says, but realize I'm not able. Let's see what Jazzberry says. I want to come back in your life, but I don't want to get hurt twice. Ooh. So I think this confirms what we were talking about before that. He might have been the one who messed up. He might have been the one who caused the tears. I don't know. I don't know. This is all speculation. You'll have to figure it out on your own or come to your own conclusion. You had a year to do it. I'm just saying. So you got to hear mine. You got to hear what I got to say about it. You had a year to figure it out. So she says some things. She has a lot of questions. She's questioning things in her verse. She's questioning, I want to hold on to you, but will you hold me back? Will you respect my emotions? So talking about her verse, this makes me think she needs some reassurance that things will be different if they tried it again. Reassurance that are you going to hurt me again? Are you going to respect my emotions? Don't downplay my emotions. Don't tell me I'm overreacting, even if I am overreacting. Just realize I'm in a space right now where I just need you to bear with me or give me some understanding. Don't downplay my emotions. Don't play my emotions. Don't play on my emotions. Just respect my emotions. Will you respect my emotions? Now, she says some other things that I can't remember right now. But we eventually get to her singing the hook. Come here, my dear, I'll wipe the tears. Come here, my dear, I'll wipe the tears. Pretty little face, girl, pretty little. And she's singing, and I gotta say, she has a voice. If you don't want to listen to this for the message, I would recommend this song. Listen to it for Shorty's voice. Because like her voice is smooth like butter. And her smooth like butter, melted butter on top of pancakes. real rap. Like her voice is smooth. And that's the best way that I could describe her voice. Now, when and I have to say, like, I hate this word that you people use, respectfully, but respectfully, she eats Justin up. and that's not even a diss. That's not even a diss. I feel like if you were to go toe to toe with this young woman on a track, you might get 8. Like, and I mean that. I mean that. Like her voice was just so smooth on there like that. And you have to give props also to Justin Wyatt because I'm going to flip this because I just said he got 8, but like anybody would have got 8. He just happened to be the person on the song. But at the same time, he recognized she needed to be on this song. He recognized that this song will fit her. Okay, so I think it takes something when it comes to arranging a song, even the way the song was written. I don't know if they wrote this together or what type of collaborative effort they had in the making of this song. But I think the both of them together did an amazing job on this track. And before I get too far gone talking about their collaborative effort, I want to talk about Jazzberry's, the way that she said something in her verse. Now, and I feel like this separates the boys from the men, so to speak, because I spend a lot of time listening to music, listening to hip hop artists and listening to people, just people, big artists and people who aren't too famous and stuff. And I feel like what separates the boys from the men is what she does here. So she says, in the beginning of her verse, she says, I want to come back in your life. And I'm just reading it right now. But when you listen to it, she says, but I don't want to get hurt twice. Now, what is the significant thing about this and why am I pumping these lyrics up? It is how you use words in the bars, not in the bars, but in the beat. Sometimes as a retired rapper and former undefeated battle rapper, 53-0, when you may have some bars, like there's been times where I just had random bars written and no beat to them, but you might find a beat that you like and you're like, oh, these bars match up with this beat, but maybe one word doesn't fit. Now, there's rappers who, nowadays it's 2022, rappers do anything. There's rappers who will force words in there or say a word super fast, which she did. And it's like apples and oranges talking about rap music and her singing. But what she did, she didn't say, I want to come back in your life, but I don't want to get hurt twice. She said, I don't want to get hurt twice. So it's like she broke the word twice, a one syllable word, up into two syllables and able to fit within this. I don't know the word. She broke it into two syllables to make it fit into where it needed to fit. Make sense of that. What I'm saying makes sense. Okay. I know what I'm talking about, even if it doesn't sound like it. So that was one thing that I picked out in her verse that I wanted to specifically speak on in this review, because although it may seem simple, it may seem like, oh, she just did what she's supposed to do as a singer, as a woo-woo. You know, the term common sense isn't so common. So if you want to downplay what I'm talking about and say like, oh, well, you know, that's just what people do. Maybe in your world, but I'm showing respect and I'm giving props where I think props are due. Like I said, it separates the boys from the men when it comes to this game, the field that she's in right now. So the song of reconciliation, pretty much, like I was saying, and it's a good story. You know, it's a good story. I just talked about all this stuff. Will they get back together? Will they stay single? Will they woo, 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 woo? It's a good story. Overall, the project is pretty great. This isn't even my favorite song off the project. And I think that speaks to the greatness of this project, right? Because I just chose to speak on a song that I think is great, you know? And this isn't even my favorite. So imagine if I just wanted to talk about every song, and we don't have all the time for that. We're going on a half an hour right now. So shout out to Justin Wyatt. Shout out to Jazz Berry. Tranzpozed is out now. You can listen to it on Apple Music. You can listen to it on Spotify. You can even listen to it on YouTube. So all these DSPs, these distribution platforms, go check it out. His name is Justin Wyatt. I am going to link the project in the description on this video and podcast, YouTube, wherever you like to consume it. If you like this hat, it just came in today. It's from Volare Toro. I think I said the name wrong in one of my other podcasts, but this is an Italian word. Volare means to fly or something along those lines. And I'm feeling pretty fly in this joint. I ain't gonna lie. You know, you got to beat the meta when it comes to this. So this is the Cool Hand Podcast. I want to give a shout out to Justin Wyatt, Jazzberry, Cool Hand Podcast, something you got to deal with. Easy.